Hello everyone, Loco here, and welcome to a grand finals match. This is the finals of the ESL Open Cup number 213 for the South Korean server, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on the map Oceanborn, where our Protoss player, who goes by the name of herO, has decided to already send a probe straight out onto the map. His opponent in the opposite corner, likewise of course also from Korea, playing with the blue Terran SCVs, we have none other than GuMiho. Alrighty, what exactly is the plan here, herO? I guess we're just gonna scout. Yeah, we're just gonna use this for scouting. No early game shenanigans, no proxies. At the very least, making sure that there's no command center first going up right there on the low ground. And at the very least, he'll know exactly what is going on. It's a little bit annoying, right? Because if you send that probe right at the very start of the game, you arrive right as the supply depot finishes. And normally, you prefer building that barracks right over there on top of the high ground, so you can actually get that wall off going nice and early. This is one of those things, basically the way Protoss players like to play this game. There's one of two options, okay? First off, they play like a bit of a douchebag. Yeah, that is the nicest way of me putting it. They go for this very early probe scout and they just start being annoying as quickly as they possibly can be. And obviously, while you're well familiar with all of the different follow-ups that Protoss has available, there's a lot of very aggressive options. Second option is to be a Protoss punching bag. That is, especially on the European server, a very popular style to play. People that take a page out of, say, for example, Showtime's book, where they basically are just getting repeatedly slapped in the face, and then usually they'll make a mistake at some point and then lose, right? That seems to be the general go-to option. Or at the very least, the two general go-to options. herO, certainly a subscriber to that first part, where he is just trying to be a nuisance. Look at him. Going away right now because he knows the timing at which that Reaper spawns. He now knows he's outside of that vision range. Where's the Reaper gonna go? Reaper is hunting down. Okay, well, GuMiho has played against herO plenty of times, so he knows that herO can try and play a bit of it. Yeah, he can play like a douchebag sometimes. So he decides to shut it down before it can continue harassing, say, for example, the SCV that's now building the command center. Anyhow, what exactly is going on the site of our Protoss? Nothing all too weird. We even have ourselves a shield battery here to make sure that we are not really going to take a whole lot of damage. I never really like the positioning of that shield battery. I know it doesn't really matter, but like on this map in particular, you have this wide open, like it fits perfectly right over there. I mean, it depends obviously on how long the range right there of that pylon power is, but that's okay. The thing about the shield battery though is that sometimes it can bait you into a bit of a sense of false security, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, this is amazingly safe, and then the Widow Mines come in and still just murder everything. Cyclone right now on the back of this, together with a second barracks already here for Gumi. So that is a very quick second Rex. I don't think herO can get vision of that. Maybe if he walks all the way up onto the high ground, he will be able to kill that SCV. 2 SCVs in total have gone down. 2 probes have already fallen as well right here for the Protoss. herO did not quite move far enough, so at the very least, well, maybe even if he did step right there to the edge, he didn't, so he doesn't see exactly what he's playing against. It's a double barracks start. Generally speaking, the follow-up, of course, is a 1-1-1, where you go barracks, factory, into a starport, and then the starport... Really? The starport can be used for harassment options. It is combat shields first. What in the world is the Gumi god cooking up this time? I'm inclined to imagine that's a misclick, because you would pretty much always go for the Stimpak upgrade first. But I guess, there's still some options though. This is what, like, this is one of those upgrades, right? If you're a more casual StarCraft fan, the plus 10 hit points from combat shields is very underrated. It's incredibly powerful, and you can tell sometimes, even at the highest level of StarCraft 2, pro gamers sometimes forget about it. It makes the Marines significantly more powerful when you do have this research. herO is going to see the amount of Marines that are available at this point, so that should give him a... Oh my god, no, that's really bad. Alright, well, that should give him a good indicator. Wrong upgrade or not, this upgrade does finish quicker, and obviously this does give GuMiho a good opportunity right now to go for a push if he wants to. Second Oracle comes across the map as well. It's gonna try and finish off some of those SCVs that were previously softened up already. But obviously, seeing the Stargate as well means that we will not have a Twilight Council at this point, and when we don't have a Twilight Council, well, guess what? There's not gonna be Blink anytime soon. So instead it's going to be a triple Oracle start. I think he can go for an attack. Yeah, that's exactly what GuMiho decides to do. The only problem is that GuMiho does not have... Oh, we're just going to pull a couple of the boys as well. He's just going to take the beating to the face. I guess, in GuMiho's mind, if this Oracle is using up all of its energy killing workers, it cannot at the same time also be used right here to stop this particular attack. It will be Stimpack on the back of this right now for Gumi. More SCVs are gonna run away, but this is not to reinforce that army. Instead, it's to try and not die. Very chaotic game number one between these two, but suddenly this army has appeared on the other side of the map. Robo Bay on the back of this, I'm not entirely sure if he's gonna be getting any of those units. Maybe a Disruptor would be nice, but yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Immortals here should do just fine. It'll be Adepts because Adepts in general are not that bad without upgrades, right? Like, Stalkers and Zealots can be a little bit finicky. Does he have enough? He needs to commit right here. No more shield battery available anywhere. Siege Tank does get targeted right there by the Immortal. The barrier ability has been activated. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, looks like the Oracle has murdered the entire mineral line, but so many probes have gone down as well. What a game. Like, it's kind of like a game of chess, you know? Like, after the first bunch of moves, there's technically an infinite amount of options. And even though I have seen so many early games of PvT over the years, this is not something I'm really... Yeah, I cannot really say that I have seen something like this before. Okay, there finally is a shield battery overcharge. Very handy. Those Marines are going to try and sacrifice themselves. Oracle's finally flying back home. They have a load of kills under their belts. So who actually comes out ahead right now? Well, Stimpack is finishing up. I think GuMiho is ready to reinforce this. I was gonna say, he needs to be a little cautious though. You really can't afford to just bleed out a bunch of units. So 8 kills right over here and 15 on the other Oracle. So these two have killed so many workers. GuMiho did of course pull a bunch of SCVs as well. Still no missile turret over here, right? Because that requires the production of an engineering bay, and where we are going, we do not need engineering bay upgrades. Okay. So, big picture. Both players have taken tremendous losses. herO is still forced into this defensive position where, yeah, he's now going into a Void Ray and he's desperately trying to start up some of those upgrades. I like this position for GuMiho here a lot better. Whenever you have even losses as far as workers go and the worker count is, well, right now even slightly in favor after these kills over here, slightly in favor of the Terran, it pretty much always is good for them, right? Because they have, of course, access to those mules. Metavector ends up going down. My god, this is an absolute bloodbath of a TVP. GuMiho right now is expecting a full-on counterattack here from the opponent. Did herO just cancel? Yeah, he just canceled the Blink research, and he decides to go into the Charge upgrade instead. Oracle's still zapping around trying to kill whatever they can. No protection for this mineral line either until, well, 4 SCVs end up going down. It may be important to note that this is the final series of a tournament, obviously, since it's the finals. So there's a good chance that both of these guys have been going at it for quite a few hours already. Personally, I think I probably play best in like my third, maybe fourth game or so of the day. But there's a good chance that for these two, since they're probably playing this event at the end of their day, that this is like, you know, not game 4, but more like game 40. You know, like at some point, when you play enough StarCraft, your eyes start glazing over and it becomes a pretty crazy match. Especially if you contrast to this, what they did at Kijkwijzer, right? The entire strategies are just very, very different. For the smaller online cups, everybody just plays so aggressively. Especially the Koreans, though. Like, there is a notable difference between the different servers in StarCraft 2. Like, people make fun of the North American server being cheesy, right? That is a pretty common thing. Look at this, new unit over here. A Void Ray and Colossi merged into one. Crazy looking thing. Anyways, maybe the American server is quite aggressive, quite cheesy, but it's honestly not even close to the Korean one. If you have ever tried laddering on Korea, it's kind of tricky for me to do because the ping is just incredibly high. But they are cheesy over there, man. Like, they try to end the game at the 3-minute mark every single time. For some reason, that is the go-to approach, and, well, we can get a taste of that in this particular game, too. It's just that these players are very good, so they haven't actually lost. Alright, anyways, GuMiho. Moving in right now for another big attack. Gets the kills right there on the Void Rays, easy peasy. Those Void Rays aren't very useful. We decide to push into this. I mean, that Colossus, that Prism ends up going down as well. Yeah, no, that wasn't it, herO. I'm not exactly sure why we decided to meet this army head on. I understand that this was a slow push right there from Gumi, but you did have time to get some more reinforcements going. I guess herO, in his desperation, decided to just commit to it, because he's been flip-flopping back and forth between strategies where he went for charge, but then also a third Nexus. Ultimately, though, it doesn't matter. It's GuMiho who obtains the victory. Golden Aura, game number 2. The bloodbath is behind us, but if it's up to GuMiho, he wants to do a little bit more of that. This time around, herO has not sent a worker right at the very start of the game. Instead, we're going to do it right now. Looks like he is going to check the left side of the bases here to make sure that there's nothing cheeky going on. Question is he going to be scouting up north as well? It does not look like that it will be the case. No, he's checking for proxies, man. These two have a lot of experience against one another. Finding it would be nice, but at this point it's a little too late to stop it regardless. I don't think this is really too heavy of a commitment though right here for Gumi, right? He's probably just gonna go for a Reaper or two and then, well, fly that barracks back home. Pretty common style to play. It's double barracks on the, or sorry, double gas on the back of this too. So I'm sure he can build some tech at home and eventually go for an expansion too. Alrighty. herO. We'll probably be sending a worker out. You need to know roughly what's going on, right? The problem is with a scout after the Cyber Core, you can't really react very much anymore anyways. So, yeah. The Cybernetics Core scout timing, it's not even what we have over here, but may as well just be a no scout. Anyhow, it's gonna be a single Reaper here, tries to go up to the high ground. Wall-off has already been completed, but of course this thing still does arrive quite quickly on the side of the Protoss. Lovely bit of SimCity right there, though, from herO. Good grenade. Ooh, one probe? Wow, look at that. The probes get revenge by themselves. They don't even need a Stalker. All right. Maybe herO should have played some Warcraft today instead, right? In Warcraft 3, we see a lot of those around. But Cyclone on the back of this, and eventually a command center as well. So this is GuMiho making that transition towards a relatively normal game, but obviously the ways in which Terran get there is quite tricky. Protoss, very build order dependent. It always feels a little easier for me to decide what to do as Terran, because you can't really make a mistake in the early game as far as your unit compositions go, right? Like, you can kind of make everything work, and GuMiho is definitely somebody who makes a little bit of everything. One Cyclone, one Widowmine, one Medevac, a Liberator, maybe a Viking, right? Like, those units aren't really... You can't really go wrong with them necessarily, and whenever you have money, you can add on a command center. Whenever you have gas, you can add on other things. As long as you eventually... I don't love this positioning on the reactor, though. I think you should probably... I guess he already had to make that long flight, but Stalkers from the low ground could very easily pick that off. Anyways, as long as you eventually go into the Stimpack research and maybe combat shields first, judging off that previous game, but as long as you get to that bio-based army, you're probably fine. Protoss has to be a lot more deliberate with what they do. Obviously, Terran also does have a bunch of timings, though, especially against Stalker-based openers. So, when you go into... So, seeing the hallucinated Phoenix there is already kind of nice, right? Anyways, specifically against Stalker-based openers, you do need to have a big enough army to, well, shut it down, right? Because otherwise, those Stalkers will just blink into the main base, and your SimCity does have to be on point, so you could, for example, plug a siege tank right behind a wall of structures. Third Nexus, nice and early right here for herO, who's just using that sentry and that wall-off of his to, yeah, play a greedy game. Okay, so, here's the Widowmine drop. Okay, I don't know why you guys decided to walk on over there. Not quite optimal, but does get a decent shot off. Widowmine is going to burrow right over here at the front. Can we force field it? I don't know if we need to. We could have. Looks like the sentry is going to die. Oh, we're going to target on the... Fair enough. One Stalker, though. Not the end of the world. And obviously with a Nexus this early, look at the worker count already. This is also partially due to the fact that GuMiho had a very late command center of his own. 43 probes right now. 3 base Protoss versus 32 2-base SCVs right now. Like, that is a massive advantage for herO. And very soon, he's going to hit that power spike with the Blink research. The blink upgrade is going to make this game significantly easier for him. herO very good, of course, when it comes to controlling his army. Yeah, I like this opener. I think it's strong. Bunch of mind games going on as well, though, because that third Nexus can certainly be punished, especially against a, well, late second base. I like how that observer decided to go into surveillance mode right there just seconds before dying. Anyways, similar attack as what we had in the previous game in the end right here. Except, well, it's not combat shields, it's gonna be Stimpack here instead. Mistake or not, this is a powerful push. It's just that GuMiho is gonna attack a Protoss player who is just hitting a power spike of their own. It's only 2 gateways, I guess, so you do have to be very cautious. More and more upgrades are being invested into. We've got ourselves the Robo facility right now, chrono boosting out a Colossus. This is a lot of money that's caught up into things that aren't actually useful just yet. Love that siege tank positioning right there by Gumi. Blink is done. That gateway is super dead. At least it's buying some time. Okay, Marines going up towards the high ground as well. Probes are already pulled away from their lines. I was gonna say, that seems dangerous. Liberator, though, is trying to deny this to the best of their abilities. Medevac does still stay alive for now. Oh, high HP Medevac boosts in and saves those units. Liberator in the back is gonna end up, getting pushed away, but this is already 9 probes going down. It is critical here for Gumi that he does not overstay his welcome, but with the Cyber Core now going down as well, I mean, we do have the charge upgrade finishing. I think that'll be the saving grace here. If GuMiho decides to go home, he should be okay. Alternatively, he could also just fight this, though. I don't think he really needs to go too crazy here. He's just gonna reinforce it, really. Yeah, this siege tank spot is so difficult to break, especially with this Widow Mine set up over here, too. Zealots charging in the direction of the siege tanks will have a very difficult time breaking this. Obviously, at this stage in the game, these are also Colossi without their ranged upgrade. So the Colossi are not just gonna be able to easily zap away at all of those Marines. Alright, well, here we go. This is apparently the moment where we decide to commit, blink towards the low ground, trying to mitigate as much of that splash damage as possible. Siege tanks being targeted down, but GuMiho, beautiful work by him, really using the map to his advantage. Golden Aura considered to be good for Terran for sure. Okay. Well, this medevac is gonna get pushed back, and ultimately GuMiho will be deflected. Jimmy here, a little afraid of danger, so he decides to look away from the Colossi, but he has been left behind. To see exactly what's happening on the side of the Protoss. Let me actually look up the win-loss ratios for this particular map at the moment. Golden Aura Liquipedia. So, for all the tournament games, they get logged, and statistics can be drawn from it. Let me see. This map has a 52.2% win rate for Terran, apparently, against Protoss at the tournament level. Not that great. I actually thought it was a little bit further in favor of Terran. Overall, though, there's a lot of choke points, right? And just a lot of tight areas. So, yeah, races with good siege damage, like, for example, well, siege tanks are pretty powerful in that department. But I guess Protoss has quite a few of those options as well, especially with force fields and Colossi and all that. There is a lot of potential to defend those tighter areas of the map. I feel greedy whenever I talk about this, but I really would like to have some more maps again in StarCraft 2. I know it's not really been that long, and I know we have 9 maps right now in the map pool, which I actually think is a significant improvement, but the Team Liquid map contest, it wrapped up some time ago. We are kind of in between big events right now. If we are going to see any balance updates, if we will be seeing any changes to the game as far as map pools go and all that, right now would sort of be the time. There are some tournaments on the horizon, but they're still a little while away. Anyways, I guess we'll see. If we're going to get an update, I think it'll probably be within the next month or so. I don't think you can really update it past that point. Let me look up the exact dates, actually, for tournaments that are announced so far for StarCraft 2 for 2024. So, yeah, the GSL Code S, I guess, is running. But the thing about the GSL Code S is that it's... I mean, honestly, in 2024, it's a relatively... Oh, my God. Looks like some of the Marines died. It's a relatively small tournament. Prize pool for Katowice was $500,000. GSL Code S, $15,000. in total. And that tournament is running for months. So it's kind of, I guess, a month and a half. Anyways, big attack right here from GuMiho. Oh, getting some... Oh my god, man, those Marines! Ay, 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 GuMiho sleeping on the job. Maybe thinking he only sent the Marauders forward, but that is a grand old fight right there for those Colossi. Zealots in the meantime on the other side of the map, creating a lot of chaos, and I think that's probably the reason. Right now, with an elucidated Colossus moving forward as well, this is the moment where herO decides to pull the trigger. He's got more than enough. GG is immediately called. GuMiho messes up a couple of attacks, and he immediately has to tap out. El Cyane is gonna be our third game for today. herO? Okay, nah, just mostly checking for proxies here. Thought for a second he was considering going for the golden base, but that would be kind of crazy for a Protoss player. I am curious though. Hopefully we can keep this somewhat civil in the YouTube comment section, but if you could change one thing about the game, if you could write one balance update, so only one line, what would it be? I've been thinking about this a lot because people ask me about StarCraft 2 balance all the time, and I don't really have a solid answer because I actually think the balance of the game is pretty tight right now. I think overall the game is in a very good spot, albeit in one where Protoss isn't really winning tournaments, but I'm still not entirely convinced that that is because of the fact that Protoss is underpowered. But if you could make one change to the game, say like Bunker now has build time that is plus 5 seconds, right? Let me know down below in the comment section. I would love to read your thoughts. Maybe upvote some of the ones as well that you see that you like. I would definitely like to have a look and see what you guys' general opinions are. The thing about making drastic changes to any of the units at this point in time is that everything kind of hangs together very, very delicately. Like, for example, if you change something about a Stalker or a Zealot or a Marine or a Marauder or a Ling or a Roach, right? Like, the game changes tremendously. We are, by the way, definitely going to get an update anytime soon, because there's actually currently a pretty significant bug. This was discovered just a few days ago, as we do have a Stargate opener into a Cyclone. I think I have a little bit of time to talk about this. Apparently, since January 2023, when we had a balance update, the balance team to StarCraft 2, or of StarCraft 2, added a different... I guess, what do we call this? Like an extra thing to the Baneling, because apparently on one of the maps there was a little bit of a bug. And they solved that bug. However, they introduced another bug in the process. And right now, on the ramps, it is very inconsistent, but on the ramps, whenever Banelings fight, for example, Marines, sometimes they deal double damage. So they're dealing damage to both low ground as well as high ground simultaneously. It is hard to say exactly how impactful this has been in professional matches, but it is certainly an unintended bug, because Banelings dealing twice as much damage than they should is not ideal. I don't actually, like, say for example the Marine is like right over here, right? Right over here or so on the ramp, and a Baneling is rolling in that direction. It may be that that Marine is both simultaneously on the high ground as well as the low ground. There's like a gray area, right? Somewhere all at the same time. Anyways, this will certainly get fixed. And it is a bug, but... Ooh, that was beautiful. Definitely the most significant bug that I've seen to the game in quite a while. Then again, it took people over a year to figure out this was the case, so I don't think it really has any... I don't think it's had any real tournament implications, but it is certainly something that shouldn't have been there in the first place. I think in general, when you're trying to come up with decisions as to what you should change about the game, you should always think about units that underperform. So for example, what are the underperforming units in the game right now? Right? What are like the worst units? I would say the Void Ray is probably the worst unit overall. Maybe the Swarm Host, although I don't know if you really want to make any changes to that. Problem is, buffing any of those units can create all sorts of problems. And if you really think about it for like a few minutes, you realize how delicate everything really is in the game. So, anyways, interested in hearing your thoughts. It's a Blink Stalker opener right here for herO. This is his bread and butter, although we haven't really seen him play with it so much right here. It's going to be 3 gateways in total, with a 3rd Nexus as well, and a heavy focus right now on sentries. Notice how herO has made quite the changes, actually, to his playstyle. Like, he really has reinvented himself. For a while, especially in his matchup, he was just a fan of going mass Blink Stalker every game. Like 2 base, 4 gateway to Blink Stalker, blink it to the main base, run around, load up the medevac, kill some more SCVs, right? It's just the Terran players have gotten very good at defending against that sort of aggression as well. So we've even seen him experiment with a bunch of charge first, rather than blink, which may make it a bit easier to, for example, take expansions against big timing attacks from GuMiho. At the same time, like against this attack, for example, I don't think charge would be misplaced, rather than blink. There's a stasis ward on the high ground, and we do have a lot of force field energy too. Anyways, obviously if you don't go for blink though, right away, you may be in some trouble against, say, Liberators, Widowmine drops, Ravens, all that sort of shenanigans. GuMiho just walks past the danger, and he stimps straight in. Alright. Insta-kill right there on the shield battery. Insta-kill on the Oracle. Probes are falling. Sentries quite exposed. Decent set of force fields right there, but now he's sort of blocking himself too. Look at this YOLO squad right here from GuMiho. My god. I do not want to be a Marine in GuMiho's army today. Jeez Louise. GuMiho plays this game. There's a medevac finally saving some of this, but GuMiho plays this game like all of the Marines need to go. Yeah, it's like every single one of his Marines spawned with like a, I don't know, a 2-minute death timer. That is how he's been playing them anyways. If you don't let them go within 2 minutes, they will die regardless. So you may as well just send them straight in. There's the combat shield upgrade, by the way, finishing up. I always think that's hilarious. The fact that those Marines had a combat shield in their back pocket this entire time, but they never used it? Come on, lads. Alright. GuMiho making 3 supply depots, despite the fact that he is nowhere even remotely close to being supply blocked. Obviously, that's because he is about ready to create a couple of funnels over here. He knows that herO will probably try to retaliate, but what exactly can you do, right? Like, yeah, it's quite tricky to make that decision. He did already mine out the rocks towards the bottom of the map. Adepts coming in from the side. That YOLO attack, though, from GuMiho. Do we still use the word YOLO, by the way? I don't know. What do we... Any Zoomers in the comment section can let me know as well what the 2024 equivalent of YOLO is. For real, on God. All facts, no printer. I don't know. Push once again here by Gumi, but there's no way he's gonna commit with his army. Right? There's no way he should commit with his army, at the very least. This watchtower is quite nice though here for our... Nah, no way. You're gonna have to commit, I guess, but these adepts are gonna fall off anyways. May as well get whatever you can. Nice watchtower location here though, with this like, you know, choky area here. Generally speaking, it'll be the Terran player that will try and take control of that. Robo number 2, together with a Robo Bay. I wonder if herO has been studying some of the Max Specs games, because this really does remind me of some of those Max Spec strategies. Okay, trying to meet this army head-on once again. That's what we did on Oceanborn. It's not what we should be doing. I guess he just really wants to slow down this push down as much as possible. Annoying little siege tank spot once again. Zealots are thinking about going all the way across the map. I like it, but it does of course means that these zealots, well, they could be used for a big-ass... a big-ass surround. Sure, that works for me. Not what I was originally gonna say, but... I think going for the counter here might be the better choice. It's just very, very dangerous. Widow mines are set up. It is a literal minefield over there. Okay, that one's okay. Yeah, that one's not too big of a deal. 2 zealots are gonna go into the natural, or third base, and a whole lot of them are being choked out over here. In the meantime, push over here at the front. Immortal still holding strong. That shield battery putting in so much work. Okay. Now, ultimately, this will be a hold right here for herO, but it's an expensive one. Marines in the back of the base as well. That's those YOLO Marines from earlier. My god. They killed so much, though. That random hit squad of like 16 Marines, they killed so much stuff. Double Robo units are gonna kick in for herO right now. But herO is in a world of trouble. Incredibly far behind right now. And now GuMiho is ready to send in unit after unit after unit. No more shield battery available over here either. He did not rebuild it. That's a little bit of a surprise. Then again, though, yeah, those Immortals and Colossi, they don't mess around. You can overwhelm that with bio, but you have to be very committed. So Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs, they decide to run away for now. 4th Command Center starts up. +2/+2 starts up as well. GuMiho making a transition, but that does give his opponent a bunch of time to, well, potentially get back into the swing of things, right? Robo units here coming up, yeah. We're just leaning heavily into the Robo facilities here. And some of these Zealot run-bys, pretending to be those Marines from earlier on into this particular game. Yeah, I was gonna say that Widowmine sees it, so probably not worth committing. Medevac drop heading straight on over towards the main base once again. Okay. I don't love this though, for Gumi. Yeah, GuMiho clearly smells blood in this entire series. But it is important that you don't get too carried away. Because this is starting to be very costly. He doesn't have the economical advantage, not really anyways. It's not a bad situation for him. I do love that one Phoenix, by the way, in the mix. This choke point here is suboptimal for the Protoss to engage into, but anyways. Yeah, so far, I guess the trades have been good enough for Gumi, but he does need to be careful that he does not throw away a lot of units. Because notice the kills over here. These are only the basic Protoss units. It's none of the heavy hitters. These units tend to survive for a long time, and that means that they gain value over time as well. Ghosts, coming up. +1 air weapons for the Terran player, also coming up. 3 additional barracks together with a 2nd starport. All of it is building here. So GuMiho is prepared to play a longer game. Here comes herO, moving forward. Ooh, nice force field. Grabs a small chunk of Marines and Marauders. Disruptor there, gets the detonation done. Lovely stuff. This is a scary attack right here. That economy from herO has been solid for quite a while. He did lose a bunch of units, but not quite enough to, yeah, really be too terrified right here of this Terran army. The Viking count is growing. We're currently at 6. It's gonna take them a long time, with all of these Stalkers in particular, to kill the Colossi. Lovely stuff. This base is completely unprotected currently, but sadly here for herO, he does not realize it. He's just reinforcing this big ball of units. He does not have a observer here. Well, maybe he does, actually. Big detonations. Nah, there is an observer here in the mix. It's somewhere. He doesn't have a prism, though. Oh, there's the observer moving forward. I think he just wins the game straight up. Yeah, the Vikings eventually do clear out all of these units, but the Disruptors and the Immortals are still available. All of the Colossi they clear out, to clarify. I think this is just too much. Lovely. Wow, okay. Beautiful comeback right there by herO. Okay. That takes us to the map Hard Lead. GuMiho getting a little bit too YOLO. I'm gonna Google it. YOLO in 2024. Is this still allowed? Like, can I still say YOLO in 2024? Ah, there has been a Reddit thread about this. Much like swag, we don't say YOLO anymore either. YOLO was a phrase popularized by Drake in the early 2010s. Oh no. Oh no, it's only used ironically now? What can I say instead of it? Life's too short? No day but today? Carpe diem? I don't think those Marines said Carpe diem, okay? There is... They were... No. They were not Carpe diem him as they decided to... No. That's not what was going on. They were getting shot at by a dozen different Protoss units. Anyways. I always wear a seatbelt because YOLO. That's how we use it, right? Proxy Gateway right here for herO. He is done being a punching bag. Yeah. You know what? GuMiho has been he's been cutting a bunch of corners in the earlier stages of this this series, in the earlier stages of the games, that is. Okay, nothing all too weird though this time around. Double gas, 1 base opener. We'll go a factory and then eventually a command center too. herO is ready to start piling on the pressure. You can tell right here as well with his first structures positionings, because he just does not care. Right? Look at him. No wall-offs, no low ground, none of that. We're just building Protoss structures like the positioning of it is irrelevant. I don't actually like that. I think we should probably be, you know, a little bit more deliberate. Zealot first. Adept. Stalker. This is the golden combination. You make a little bit of everything except for sentries, because they suck. Sorry. We've seen our fair share of sentries, though. You know what? I think sentries are also an underperforming unit. Yeah. Overall, sentries are incredibly powerful, very important, but also super lame. Alright, well, this Zealot is not going to live for very long at this rate. Luckily for him, he will be reinforced in just a moment. Already, though, we have a Stalker going to town. Command center on the low ground. That is not where it should be. We should cancel that for sure here, Gumi. Because this is a full-on aggression right here from your opponent. There's no way you're going to be able to finish that one up. But I guess in his mind, he also doesn't really need the money for anything else at this point in time. We should probably build a bunker or at least be safe. We're going to just go straight into a starport. Okay, he's not respecting this very much. We'll have to see if this is a good decision here. Now the depots are down, the Adepts decide to shade in. Cyclone, of course, is very powerful. SCVs are starting to drop like flies. This Stalker will be able to shade away, or run away. Yeah, if you can finish the command center on the low ground, this game is suddenly amazing for Terran. It's just that it's a hulk of mass over here that we have invested 400 minerals into, and those 400 minerals are... well, probably the entire value of our army at this point. A little bit less even than that, so... you gotta be very cautious. herO, by the way, feigning that he's giving up on this. Instead, what he's doing, though, is chrono boosting out Warp Gate. That upgrade is done. And he is ready to start reinforcing this even quicker than he already has been. Cyclones are good, though, in this base defense situation, because they can obviously move and shoot at the same time, and their movement speed is similar to that of a lot of these ground Protoss units. This Cyclone, however, is dead. He doesn't know it yet. Now he does. Okay. Well, if we don't finish the command center, I think it's basically game over. Yep. CC does not finish. GG. So there it is. It's herO who obtains the victory and wins the ESL Open Cup for the Korean server.